This is the 9/11 Memorial in Lower Manhattan, on the site where the World Trade Center towers used to stand. I don't need to tell you what happened here on September 11th, 2001. Virtually all of us who were around then and old enough to be aware of what was happening in the world around us remember that tragic day vividly. I recently spoke to someone who saw the first plane strike the North Tower with his own eyes, not on TV, but in real life, real time, one of the thousands of eyewitnesses who were there that day. This landscape is in Afghanistan, a country where the Al-Qaeda terrorists who committed the 9/11 attacks, led by Osama bin Laden, planned, organized, and launched them from. This country has a long, complex, and tragic history, which is heavily intertwined with numerous threads and cross-currents in the modern history of the world, from the disastrous Soviet war of the 1980s to America's own 20-year quagmire in the same place. This place is deeply connected to the location I just showed you. A little later in the video, I'm going to give you a fact related to the broader story of the September 11th attacks that you may not have known before. Just one fact of many hundreds, thousands of facts that's relevant to understanding possibly the most important geopolitical event that's occurred in this century so far. Hi, I'm Sean Munger. I'm a historian, teacher, and author. I have a PhD in history, and as you probably know, my niche here on YouTube is doing long, context-heavy deep dives on various events in history. I wanted to bring you one of those long deep dives about the origins and background of the terrorist attacks of September 11th, 2001. It's one of the topics that's been most requested by my viewers and subscribers. Alas, I am not able to do that, principally because it's difficult to monetize any material related to 9/11 on YouTube. Not impossible, but difficult. That's okay, I understand that. It's a commercial decision, not censorship. But because I can't do a deep dive video on 9/11 the way I would like, and to have my work actually compensated, instead I'm launching an online class about it called The Origins of 9/11, which I'll be teaching on my website, seanmunger.com. The class launches on November 11th, 2024, and the link to sign up for the waiting list is in the description. This class is different than my usual deep dive videos. For one thing, it's much more in-depth. It's not a passive documentary like the kind you usually see on my channel, but rather a series of video lectures together with supplemental materials, reading suggestions, and the opportunity to follow up with questions. The course tuition is $397. I know that's a lot, but it is that way because, as I explained a moment ago, it would be a significant slog to try to get a 9/11 related video monetized on YouTube. And unfortunately, I don't work for free. The research, preparation, and production that went into this class was considerable, as you might imagine. But so many of my channel viewers have wanted me to do 9/11, and it's really unwieldy to try to do it here. That's why I made it a class rather than a video documentary. What you're watching now is the first of 6 videos I'm going to be putting out just for my subscribers between now and the launch of the Origins of 9/11 course. In these videos, I'll explain what the class is about, what you'll get if you decide to take it, and why it matters. Even if you decide not to take the class, which is totally fine, you might still learn something substantive about the origins of September 11th, just from watching these intro videos. This is why in each of these 6 videos, starting with this one, I've included at least one interesting fact related to the 9/11 story that many people don't know. So even if you have no interest in the class itself, your time spent watching this video anyway will still be worthwhile. I'll get to the fact for this video in just a moment. If you are interested in the class, here are just some of the things you'll learn. Why were the attacks done? What was the geopolitical strategy behind them? Who was Osama bin Laden and what did he want? What is Islamism, the political and religious philosophy bin Laden espoused? Who were and are the Taliban? Who were the hijackers who actually committed the 9/11 attacks, and why did they volunteer to do them? What preceded the attacks, and what were the warning signs that American policymakers ignored? Why are the conspiracy theories about 9/11 completely wrong? These are just some of the things that will be covered in this class. One caveat though, Keep in mind the subject of the class is the origins of 9/11. That's its focus, the why and the how, the big picture. So much of what is talked about with regard to September 11th focuses on the day itself. Firefighters and first responders, rescues, survivor stories, that sort of thing. I'm not going to be doing any of that. Not because it's not important, but because the main focus of what I want to get across is why 9/11 happened. That's the piece that many people are missing in their understanding. So, I've laid my cards on the table. Keep watching in the coming weeks for more short videos on the origins of 9/11 project. And as I said earlier, the link to get on the waiting list is in the description. There's no obligation at all right now. You'll just get an email when it's time to register. Here is our lesser known fact for this video. What you're looking at on the screen is called the Prophet's Mosque, located in Medina, Saudi Arabia. The Prophet Muhammad is buried here, and it's one of the 3 holiest places in the Islamic faith, the others being Al-Haram Mosque, or the Great Mosque, in Mecca, and the Al-Aqsa Mosque, or Dome of the Rock, in Jerusalem. There's been a mosque on this site since the foundation of Islam in the 7th century CE, but obviously what you see here, the modern infrastructure, is relatively new. This is what the mosque looked like in 1908, when the area that's now Saudi Arabia was under the nominal control of the Ottoman Empire. Quite different and a lot more modest, as you see. So, who built the modern infrastructure? It was constructed beginning in the 1960s under the direction of the Saudi royal family. But the man most directly responsible for this massive and expensive construction project was this one, Mohammed bin Laden, the Saudi king's chief builder and close friend, and founder of the now multi-billion-dollar Saudi bin Laden Group, a massive consortium of construction and finance companies that's extremely powerful and influential in the world today. In addition to renovating the Prophet's Mosque in the 1960s, Mohammed bin Laden was involved in renovations at Dome of the Rock and Al-Haram itself, meaning that the 3 holiest sites in Islam all bear significant physical traces of his legacy. And yes, Mohammed bin Laden was the father of Osama bin Laden, chief instigator of the September 11th attacks. Osama was one of 52 children he had by 22 wives. Mohammed bin Laden died in a plane crash in 1967, but the empire he built, in part through the modernization of Saudi Arabia in the 1950s and 60s, provided the wealth on which Osama launched his monstrous career of terror that culminated in the 9/11 attacks. Thank you for watching. I hope you'll join me on this upcoming journey into the recent past. There's still so much more to learn about our own history.